superheroes and supervillains, it's your friend Sean PVS 101. Welcome back to a brand new video on my YouTube channel. I hope you're doing very well recently. With the release of Despicable Me 4, which I am so excited to see that movie real soon right now. Today, I'm continuing for my re-review of all of my Despicable Me movies, leading up to the fourth one I'm going to see very soon in theaters right now. And today's brand new movie review, I'm going to review on my YouTube channel. And today's movie I'm going to review on is the third installment of the Despicable franchise. I'm going to do a re-review on that is none other than Despicable Me 3. Yes, my viewers, I'm gonna do a movie review on Despicable Me 3. And this movie was released on June 30th, 2017, 7 years ago. And this movie was released in the year 2017, the same year as Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Spider-Man Homecoming, Coco, what else came out in 2017? Star Wars The Last Jedi, Thor and Ragnarok, and the atrocity, the Emoji Movie we don't want to ever speak of. And this movie stars Steve Carell as Gru and his twin brother Drew, Kristen Wiig as Lucy Wilde, Myrna Cosgrove as Margot, and Trey Parker as the villain Balthazar Brat. And so the plot for Despicable Me 3, this movie takes place after the events of the second film, after Gru and Lucy are finally been married each other. They become lovely couples as AVL agents. In this movie, Gru and Lucy try to stop the AVL's most wanted villain, Balthazar Brat, who voiced by Trey Parker, the creator of South Park, because of the character of Balthazar Brat is a child star of the 1980s, but then his show got canceled in season 3 because of puberty in his child acting career. Years later, Balthazar Brat wants to steal the biggest diamond on the ship, while Gru and Lucy tried to stop them, but then unfortunately Gru tried to stop Balthazar Brat on the ship. He got away, and then later on, both Gru and Lucy got fired at the Anti-Villain League and lose their jobs. Meanwhile, at home, the girls find out about Gru's got fired at the AVL to fail to stop the villain Balthazar Brat. Meanwhile, the minions want to go back into villainy with Gru, but Gru disagreed. They don't want to go back to villains, and then the Mel and the rest of the minions quit and leave for Gru, except for Dave and Jerry. The two minions stayed with him, and then later on, during the museum scene in Paris, when Balthazar Brat stole the diamond again because of he disguised himself as a fat guy, and later on the next day, Agnes sold her unicorn toy because of she wants to give her fluffy unicorn away during the morning because of Gru lost their jobs, and Agnes wants to make Gru feel better. And then out of nowhere, an old butler character named Fritz, who is Gru's long-lost twin brother Butler, shows up out of nowhere to talk to Gru about Gru has a long-lost twin brother named Drew, which Gru doesn't know, Agnes doesn't know, and the minions doesn't know. While Gru is feeling surprised, he has a long-lost twin brother the whole time. And then later on, the Gru family are going to this island-type place called Fredonia to meet his long-lost twin brother Drew. While Gru gets excited to meet his twin brother Drew, when he met Drew at the mansion, Gru felt a little uncomfortable meeting his long-lost twin brother for the first time because he's acting like a complete opposite of him. He's wearing a blonde hair, he's wearing white outfit, he acts all high-pitched, and he gets on his nerve. But then, while Gru and Drew are interacting with each other, Drew wants to go back into the supervillain way because he wants Gru's help. Drew wants Gru's help to become a supervillain. While Drew wants to become a supervillain like Gru, he needs to impress his father, because Drew and Gru's father has suddenly passed away, and then Drew needs bring Gru to help to become a better villain. And then meanwhile, we see Lucy is trying to be a mom to the three girls during Freedonia, and then while Lucy is trying to take Margot to Freedonia on a date with this boy named Nico. Meanwhile, Edith and Agnes went to the bar, and Agnes saw a unicorn horn. She gets excited, and the bartender there's a real unicorn out there. Meanwhile, the minions are free without Gru and goes to break into a studio place to get arrested. Meanwhile, Balthazar Brat wants to get revenge on Hollywood because his show got canceled. He wants to get revenge, and meanwhile, Gru is trying to teach Drew how to become a super villain to steal the diamond, get his job back, and that's the plot for this movie. That's the plot for this film. So, after I watched Despicable Me 3 last night, leading up to the fourth movie, what do you think about Despicable Me 3 after I watched it last night? What do you think about the movie right now? In my personal opinion, after I watched Despicable Me 3, personally, I don't find this movie not that bad. Sure, it's the weakest of the Despicable film series, but personally, I don't think it's not that bad. Sure, it's definitely not as good as Despicable Me 1 or 2, but personally, I still enjoyed it for what it is. It's not the best one of the series, but I still personally enjoyed it. I don't mind it. Sure, it's not a great or perfect movie. I do have some flaws of the film, but personally, I still really like Despicable Me 3 for what it is. I was pretty having fun watching this movie a lot because I do like some elements I like about this movie. I do like the story element. I know it's not the best writing for a Despicable Me movie, but personally, I do like the story of the movie. We see Gru finally had a twin brother named Drew, while Drew wants to go back into supervillain with Gru, and then meanwhile, the girl Lucy Wilde, voiced by Kristen Wiig, wants to become a mother to the girls and try to have a bond with the girls, especially Margot. And meanwhile, we see the minions are in prison because they want to go back into villainy, and we see the main villain Balthazar Brat, whose 80s show got canceled, want revenge on Hollywood. Yeah, I really like this movie. Like I said, it's not as good as Despicable Me 1 and 2, but I personally really had a fun time with this movie. So yeah, let's begin my review, shall we? And share my honest opinions about why I like about Despicable Me 3, or things I have some flaws with it. But let's begin the review, shall we? The story and the writing for this movie, well, it's not the best writing and storytelling for the Despicable Me franchise, but personally, I do like the concept idea about Gru having a long-lost twin brother named Drew who lives on an island, wants to go back into villainy and try to impress his father. He wants to become a supervillain like Gru. Personally, I do really enjoy this plotline when Gru has a twin brother with Drew, while Drew wants to be with Gru on the supervillain stuff. Personally, I do enjoy that plotline for what it is. I do love to see Gru and Drew I like to see them as brothers each other, because I do like to see some brother moments with Gru and Drew, like acting like siblings each other. I do really love some moments of Gru and Drew acting like brothers. It was a lot of fun and exciting. I know they got a little argument each other during the third act, but personally, I do really love to see Gru and Drew acting like brothers. Also, I do love that storytelling part of the movie. Also, other storytelling plot lines, like Lucy is trying to become a mom to the three orphan girls. Personally, I really like Lucy becoming a mother in this movie, trying to have a nice bonding between the girls, and especially Margot in this one. I do like to see Lucy in this movie as a mother figure to the girls, and then Margot is feeling uncomfortable of this Freedonian character named Nico, who's while Nico is in love with Margot. Personally, I don't mind that subplot. I do like that plot. Also, we see Agnes and Edith are on this mission in the woods trying to find a real life unicorn because Agnes sold her toy unicorn during the yard sale, and then she wants to find a real one in the woods because the bartender said so, and then she found a goat instead of a unicorn. Personally, I find the plotline to be the weakest of this movie, but personally, I find this plotline to be cute for Despicable Me standards. Other plotlines, like the Minions are wanting to go back into supervillains after Gru got fired from the AVL because of the leader of the Minions, Mel, who wants to become bad again, but then Gru disagrees. They leave Gru, and then they got arrested and go to prison. Personally, I find the Minions side plot to be kind of funny. Not the best one, but personally, I still enjoy the Minions shenanigans for what it is. They're pretty funny sometimes. Well, I still like the Minions a lot, but in here, I do enjoy them in the third movie for what it is. And also other plot lines like the main villain's motivation, Balbazar Brat's plan, a revenge on Hollywood because of his 1980s show called Evil Brat, because of during the scene of the beginning of the movie, he grow a bit older as a teenager during season 3, and then his show got canceled because of puberty, and then he got canceled from Hollywood, and he wants to get revenge on Hollywood to destroy this place using his giant action figure robot. Personally, I like the villain's motivation to get revenge on Hollywood because of, how I feel about Hollywood now, lol. So yeah, personally, I don't find the storytelling and the writing for this film to be not that bad. Sure, it's not the best storytelling for a Despicable Me movie because some of the plot lines and some side plots can be a bit messy, but personally, it's a Despicable Me movie. It's what it is. Also, for the animation, to me, in my opinion, I love the animation in this movie because this is going to be the best looking animation from the Despicable Me sequels because it got a nice upgrade to the visuals. I still love the character designs I love the character designs on the old and the new. I love the models on the characters' faces, both expression. I love the costume designs. I love the backgrounds a lot. I love some of the new locations. Like, I love the location of Fredonia. I love the location of Drew's pig-themed mansion and the super family villain's lair. And even the prison looks very awesome and cool. And even the best part of the animation is Balbazar Brat's lair. I freaking love Balbazar Brat's lair. Is very 1980-ish, 80s-ish, which I really love, by the way, because I love the animation in the third movie. It's got to be the best one of the Despicable Me movies in terms of animation. I just still love everything about the animation, the character designs, the character models, backgrounds, and even some of the vehicles and weaponry are awesome to look at. Also, for the action sequences and chase sequences are really awesome and a lot of fun. I still love the action sequences in this movie, like the chase sequences when Gru and Drew are being chased by Fredonian police officers. That was a very fun chase sequences, and also the fights between Gru and Balbazar Brat during when they first met, and then later on in the climax was awesome. Even especially the third act in the action scenes in the climax was really awesome. We would see Gru and Drew taking down Balbazar Brat's robot figure. I really love that third act of the movie while Margot and Edith and Agnes are being trapped by Brat's bubblegum while Lucy is here to save the day. I really love that third act of the movie. It's got to be the best part of the movie is the third act. How fantastic some of the action sequences can be. And also I really love some of the fight moments between Gru versus Balbazar Brat, which is very awesome to watch. As for my thoughts on the characters, let's talk about some of the characters in Despicable Me 3, shall we? First, we have Steve Carell as Gru in this movie. Personally, I still adore Steve Carell as the character of Gru from the Despicable Me movies. He is the highlight and the best part of these movies. But in this movie, I do like to see Gru some character in this film, because we learn about New from Gru, because he has a long lost twin brother named Drew, because of Gru is meeting his twin brother Drew on the island, because Drew wants to go back into villainy with Gru. Personally, I do like Gru in this movie because I do see his character where he's coming from. He wants to help Drew become a villain while he don't want to embarrass him. I do feel sympathy for Gru in this movie because he tried his best to be a good brother to Drew, and while he is trying to have some nice heartwarming moments between Lucy and the girls. But I still adore Gru from the Despicable Me movies. But in this movie, I really like Gru in the third movie when he's trying to be a good brother to Drew while he is trying to teach Drew to become a supervillain. I really love Gru in this film because I feel bad for Gru got fired from the AVL, trying to fail to stop Balthazar Bread, but I really want to root for Gru in this one because he wants to get his job back as an anti-hero from the AVL, want to try to stop Brad to give the diamond back to the AVL and send it back to the museum. Personally, I love Gru in this movie because Steve Carell once again did a phenomenal job voicing Gru and his new character Drew, he did a phenomenal job voicing both Gru and Drew in this film because Steve did still a phenomenal job voicing both characters. Then we have Lucy Wilde, voiced by Kristen Wiig again. Personally, I really love Lucy Wilde from Despicable Me 2, who is Gru's new wife / partner of the AVL, but I do really like Lucy in this movie because Lucy Wilde is becoming a mother to the three girls, Margot, Edith, and Agnes. I do like Lucy's character in this movie because we see Lucy is trying to become a good mom to the girls, especially have a bonding between Margot in this film. Personally, I really love Lucy in this movie because she tried her best to become a mom, but I really love Lucy Wilde in this movie. I thought Kristen Wiig did a phenomenal job in this film. Also, we have the three orphan girls, Margot, Edith, and Agnes. Personally, I love the three orphan girls from the Despicable Me movies. In this one, I really love the three orphan girls in this film. They're still adorable to this day. I really love them all. And also, I feel bad for Margot in this movie because she is feeling uncomfortable of dealing another boyfriend situation because she doesn't want to be with Nico because of during the cheese festival scene. Personally, I feel bad for Margot in this film because she doesn't want to be with boys. Remember that moment in the second movie she broke up with Antonio, which is El Macho's son, during Despicable Me 2. Personally, I feel bad for Margot in this as a character, and Miranda Cosgrove voicing Margot in this, she still did a phenomenal job. And then we have other characters like the Minions. Personally, I still like the Minions in this movie because the Minions want to go back into villainy because of the new Minion Otto wants to go teach Gru how to go back into villain, but Gru disagrees, and then the Minions leave for Gru, and then they got arrested and go to prison. Personally, the Minions aren't barely in this movie because of the Minions got a lot of stuff in their spin-off movies, because the Minions got wars everywhere in the spin-off movies. But here, the Minions kind of barely in it because we already seen some Minions moments like in the spin-off movies. Personally, the Minions are pretty still funny in this film because we rather focus on Gru's storyline with his twin brother Drew. I'm just saying. Right, let's talk about some new characters, shall we? First, let's start with our new characters. We have Gru's long-lost twin brother, Drew, voiced by Steve Carell in this one. Personally, I don't find Drew not that annoying. Sure, he's not as strong as Gru, but personally, I enjoy Drew as a character. Sure, he can be annoying a lot, but personally, I find Drew to be a lot of fun and very likable because he wants to bring Gru back into the supervillain roads while Gru trying to teach Drew how to become an evil villain like Gru, pull a heist. Personally, I don't find Drew not that annoying. He's pretty funny and likable. I do really like his voice by Steve Carell, who is a high-pitched character. I really like Drew a lot as a character. I like both see Drew and Gru's brotherly relationship. I like to see them as brothers in this movie, but I do like Drew as a character slash brother to Gru for what it is. Also, let's talk about the main villain of this movie, Trey Parker as Balthazar Brat. Wow, just freaking wow. I really love Balthazar Brat in this movie because he voiced by the South Park creator Trey Parker. Personally, I really love Balthazar Brat as a character. He is such a fun slash entertaining villain because of he is this like 1980s themed villain who wants to get revenge on Hollywood because of his show got canceled during the 1980s era. And personally, I find Balthazar Brat to be a fun and entertaining villain because of Trey Parker's performances did a fun job voicing this character because I feel like Balthazar Brat is such a good character. He makes me want to forget all some South Park characters. Yep, Balthazar Brat is so much fun and funny as a character. He makes me want to forget all some South Park characters. Yep, I'm going that far. I like Balthazar Brat even more than Randy Mush from South Park. There, I said it. Also, I really love his iconic line from the character of Balthazar when he says, "I've been a bad boy." I just really love his design and his character design because his character is themed in the 1980s, which I really love his look because I just love the 1980s decade so much. Gotta be the most cool and retro things I ever seen from that decade. I love the 80s moments in this movie because I just love some moments of the beginning of the movie when he is this child star character, but then suddenly got canceled, and then we see him as an adult ready to steal that diamond on that ship and carry that ship with his bubblegum. That was an awesome scene moment. Another moments I love about this character is the museum scene when he disguised himself as an obesity fat guy, disguised himself as a French exhibit at the museum, then he take it off the costume and using those darts on those museum people and took the diamond playing Take On Me, that 80s song. That scene was a lot of fun to watch. And also I really love moments like when Balthazar Brat is working out at the gym listening to Physical using this parody song. That was a very fun character I really love. And also I really love his motivation. I feel bad for him. Like he wants to get revenge on Hollywood because the show got canceled and that he built his giant robot version of the action figure and ready to destroy Hollywood with his robot figure and send that place to space. Personally, I really like the character of Balthazar Brat. He is a very fun and very entertaining villain, in my opinion. So yeah, I really like Despicable Me 3 for what it is. Is this film perfect or an awesome movie? Personally, not really, because this is not my favorite Despicable Me movie. It's not as awesome and exciting as the first or second movie. Personally, I do have some couple of flaws with Despicable Me 3. Like, let's get into some flaws with the film. Like, my biggest flaw for the movie is some scenes I do not like Gru and Lucy getting fired at the AVL because of Rance Bottoms getting retired from the AVL and bringing a new boss named Valdimentary, and then Valdimentary fires both Gru and Lucy. Personally, I do not like that moment because I find this movie to be pointless for what it is, and also I really do not like Miss Valdimentary as this new boss of the AVL. Personally, I just don't like her character. I find her to be an uglier version of Shannon from the second movie. Personally, she's not a lot in the scene, but she appeared in one scene and also Gru's dream sequences. But personally, really do not like Miss Valdimentary. I find her to be a pointless character. And also another character I do not like, the one character that I just don't care about is Nico, this little boy character in Fredonia. Personally, I don't give a crap about Nico. Personally, he's my least favorite character of the movie. He serves but nothing in the plot because he's just there to be in the side plot with trying to fall in love with Margot. Personally, I don't give a crap about Nico or his mean, ugly mom. I wish the better he just cut out of the movie to be a background character. But that's the one thing I don't like about it. It's just, I don't give a crap about Nico. He just serves nothing in the movie. Overall, guys, despite my few criticisms of Despicable Me 3, overall, I still really enjoyed Despicable Me 3 for what it is. Sure, it's not as good or not as awesome as Despicable Me 1 or Despicable Me 2, but I still really like this movie for what it is, with very solid writing, very likable characters, fantastic animation, awesome action sequences, and even a killer soundtrack. Personally, in my opinion on the soundtrack of Despicable Me 3, I love the soundtrack. My favorite song from the soundtrack is Trey Parker and Pharrell Williams' Hug Me, which is a very underrated song of the franchise. It is very catchy, a lot of fun to listen to. And I give Despicable Me 3 a solid 8 out of 10. Well, that's it for my movie review on Despicable Me 3. I hope you really enjoyed this video. I hope you give me a like and subscribe. Subscribe to my channel. Comment down below with this movie on Despicable Me 3. Did you really love it or absolutely hate it? Comment down below. What's your opinion on Despicable Me 3? And also, who is your favorite character of this movie? Mine is Balbazar Brett. Mine is Gru and Drew. So yeah, well, that's for my video. Give me a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next video and get totally wicked!